everyone, and welcome to this session of the Thriving Families Africa Summit. And today we are looking at a conversation that is at the heart of many, many women's lives, finding yourself in the middle of motherhood, work, and everything in between. And who else to have this conversation than Pinky Ghelani? Thank you so much for being here, founder of What Women Want Summit and everything that comes with it. Thanks
Thank
for...
you.
Yes.
Dr. Carol, it's always a pleasure having any conversation with you. I think you're such a phenomenal force, and I love what you're doing. I know I've reached out to you so many times when I'm stuck with my kids. So I'm very, very grateful to you and what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there's so much power in collaboration and in learning from one another and reaching out to each other. And I'm so glad that you were able to do this.
Absolutely, yes.
So let's just jump right in. You do What Women Want. We've reached how many summits now? How many years now?
We're going into our fourth one in March next year.
Fourth one. And I have just been so honored to be part of it right from the start.
Honestly, you have. Yeah. And I'm so, like I said, I'm so grateful. You're such a wonderful resource.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's built now. It's a wonderful community. It's a growing community. And I just wanted to hear from you. I mean, 3 years down the line, what captures what women are really longing for in this day and age?
So, the backstory to What Women Want is we actually started in 2017, where we were doing smaller conversations in malls. Like sometimes 5 people would show up, sometimes no people would show up. So it's not even 3 years of conversations, it's much longer than that. And we still haven't discovered what women want, which is a good thing, I think. No, it's wonderful because, Dr. Hari, we're always unpeeling, we're always unraveling, it just goes to show as women, we're always evolving.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about the fact that we can continue to have conversations in different topics rather, and be able to be who we are, women, vulnerable, open, emotional, honest, and intelligent.
Okay. So I guess that's part of what we want, to be open, to be vulnerable, to have spaces to have
I think what we really want, just an overview is we want our independence. We want our respect. We want to be able to have some sense of freedom, and whatever that looks like, whether it's financial or, travel freedom, or that sort of, when I say independence, that's what I mean. We want to be able to share our thoughts without being called emotional or like, oh, is it that time of the month?
Or too much.
Yeah, or too much. We want to address pockets. That's not hard to ask, right? These are the things that give us thrills. But I think we want a lot, and that's not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Look, we also live in a day and age where we're able to use our voice a lot more. We're able to demand, we're able to ask. And that's because, the women who came before us fought for our space right here, right now. I know that when I'm doing this work, I'm very conscious of the fact that, there's I have a lot of people asking, can men attend our events? Can men come for What Women Want? And I always say that men who do attend, they know what women want, but that's all in jest and all in humor.
Yeah.
But on a very serious note, there is the fact that there is a huge community of men and boys who are now being left out or not being encouraged or involved or, being thought of as people who also need to be empowered. And I think as a parental coach, you can also attest to the fact that our sons need more help now more than ever.
They do.
Because there's maybe a balancing of the scales that has never happened before, which means the boy child is going to struggle, and we need to help him find himself and remain masculine in this space.
Yeah, and I can say that not just as a parent coach, but as a mother to a son who is 16, and for you also having a son and a daughter, you can see the need to actually be able to be present for both of them in ways that are very intentional.
Yes, and the struggles, like I see, like I look at my daughter who's 15 and I see she's headstrong, she has a good sense of discernment in her, and then I look at my son and I'm like, is it a mother's role to
Mm.
teach that?
Mm.
Or do I leave that to the dad? Like,
Mm.
what do I overstep my boundaries? What is a mother's role in a son's life as well? We don't mollycoddle. We don't want to become those women who overdo it as well.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I guess it's even more with especially if you're co-parenting or you're single parenting, then it becomes even harder to draw that line. Sometimes on Mother's Day you hear someone say on Father's Day, Happy Father's Day
Yeah,
to me. And sometimes, I'm just like, yeah, great. You really are playing a major role, but there is a part for a man and a male figure to play in the lives of these boys. And I see that with my son as well. I'm fortunate to have a healthy co-parenting relationship where I can actually,
yeah,
when I step back and I look at it, I'm thinking, there is no way I could have done this, or I could have brought this out of,
yeah,
yeah. And just speaking of that, I just think about this word supermom and superhero and superwoman. And there are times you have just tried to caught yourself trying to do it all, to be superwoman, to be hero. And how did that play out for you? How did that go?
You know what? I swear, I think women are super in all regards. We're managing the home. You're running around like my house help used to help me do my shopping. She went to deliver her twins, so now that's back on me. She was a huge help in that way. So now she's gone to deliver her twins. So you're juggling like things like this, work, meetings. You're juggling, going to school and being present and showing up, and whether it's the matches or the parent-teacher consultations. Then you're going to do the shopping and run the house and making sure that the right nutrition is being given to the family, etc. And then you're showing up, to because I'm the events person, I'm the face behind the events. I'm showing up and I'm dressing up, and sometimes I'm just like, wow, it is a lot. I'm very grateful that I have the strength and the capacity and even the support to be able to do it. But having said that, I'm not putting, my husband down in any way. I think the reason I'm able to do this is because, when I need to do a 7 a.m. meeting, he's like, it's okay, I've got it. I'll do the school run. Or if, I'm out of town, he's stepping in where he otherwise probably won't. There, I think it's just the upbringing as well, Carol, is that women have been taught to give and give and give and give and give and be those people who are always nurturing, tending, and that's not a bad thing. I think, to be honest, we do it better. I don't want your audience to
Say
come
that
at me.
again. Say it slowly. We already caught it on tape, so.
I think we're able, because of how we think and because of how we step into all our six senses, we're able to do multitask and do it all. And I've seen it. Sometimes it's a struggle when I ask my husband to do this over this over this over this, and he's just like, wait, how much do you expect me to do? I can't do all of this. Whereas if it's me, maybe it's haphazard, but I will get it done. It'll be done in a chaotic sort of way, but it'll be done. And I think, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a woman saying she is a superwoman. However, having said that, I think we need to also learn boundaries as women. And I say this because I saw my mom, and I talk about this, I know you know about this. My mom had a stroke 10 years ago. And when I sat with myself to ask, like, why would this happen to my mother? What did she, because she was not unhealthy. She didn't have any signs of potentially getting a stroke. But it was, and this is maybe some solace to myself, but I always say that she never knew how to say no, including with me. Her daughter, I'd be like, I need this, I need that, I need that. And she'd always be like, all right, I'll handle it and I'll do it. And that's the supermom aspect that comes in. Don't worry, I'll do it. But also, if she had said to me, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm exhausted and I need this evening to sleep. If that version of me at that time would have been highly offended. But today I wish she had done that, because it would have protected her mental state and maybe her health in the long term. So my message to women is, yes, it's great to be able to do it all, but also draw your boundaries and know that nobody's waiting to give you a medal. Um, do it out of the love and the fact that it makes you feel full, but also know when you're tired. Understand that you're mentally exhausted or drained and you need a moment.
Okay, so yes, we do better. We are super women.
You said it. You said it.
I just said what you said. But there's but there, or is it and? I'm being taught to say yes, this and instead of yes, but.
Yes, and
yeah. And learn to say no, learn to communicate it, understand that there are no medals being given. And I think the best thing you can do is actually to celebrate yourself for the things that you are doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's also this aspect where we are told separate yourself from you being a mother, separate yourself and be wife, separate yourself. And I mean, all this disjointedness. What are your thoughts about that? Selfhood versus motherhood versus CEO, founder?
I had this question not so long ago, and I think it's the Pepsi CEO who said there's a season for everything, right? There's a season for this, there's a season for that. But I feel it's not about separating yourself, it's about just leaning into priorities. What is your priority right now? If I have something very important that can help me pay school fees this evening, vis-a-vis my child's play, I will go to what will help me pay the school fees, and my husband will show up if he can, for the child's play. So I think it's priorities. If say the event that I was doing today was just for free and it was just for me showing up, then I would probably say no, my child here would appreciate seeing me in the audience. So I would let go of that event and focus on being with my kids. If something was to come up, say in the middle of a very important event, and it is to do with the health of my children or anything to do with my children being in danger, etc., I would drop everything. I think any mother would. So it's just prioritizing, understanding that, okay, fine, Tuesdays between 9 and 11, I'm not going to do anything because that's time I've carved out for me and my mom. And nothing will come between that unless, say, a work, again, if it's very important work, but then I'll explain it and I'll make up that time to spend with my mom. So it's just, I think it's a matter of really prioritizing and then also sitting with yourself, being self-aware. What is important? What is, top of your list in the sense that you need to achieve so that you're able to sleep better at night. You know that you've done your best.
Yeah, and I think also that the self-awareness also comes with learning how to process and manage guilt that comes with not being
guilt.
here.
Somebody told me when I gave birth that there's a silent twin being born as well, and its name is guilt.
Yeah. So how do you manage that for yourself?
I think again, it's just that self-awareness that, look, today I wasn't able to go to my child's play. Will it damage him or her? Probably not. I've explained it to them as best as I could. I've made them understand why I will be somewhere else, why that is more important than this. Although, there's communication in everything, I feel. So I think guilt is something that we need to unlearn. It's very conditioned, I think when you're bringing our kids up, or when we've been brought up, it's always been, if you don't do this, will happen to you. So again, it's self-talk, it's self-awareness. It's I will not do something if I feel overly guilty about it. Then your gut is telling you it's not right. But there is that maybe feeling bad as opposed to guilty. You're feeling a bit bad. Oh, I should have been there, but okay, it's one over the other. I think if it makes me feel very guilty, then it's just my gut saying, don't do that, no matter what it is.
Kind of just following your deep gut feeling. That's
yes. Yeah. Because I think guilt can really eat you up, and it can make you feel worse, and then you start doing other things to make you feel better, And
So
it doesn't really solve the
overcompensate.
situation.
Yeah.
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 Like, oh, let's go shopping. And I don't think it solves anything. I
Mm.
think you have to really be at peace with all the decisions you're making.
Yeah. And do you think that there's a space where we will never be completely rid of guilt?
Um, I think it's human nature, right?
Yeah.
To always feel some sort of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's that whole thing of it's really working on yourself. It's making sure that, like I said before, your decisions are right for you. And if it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Because your gut, your instinct, your wisdom, your higher self is always speaking to you.
Yeah.
And there's always a reason for that. I feel like you'll feel guilty over, you can't feel guilty over things you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I'll go back to my mom's stroke. Oh, I should have taken her to a hospital for a checkup, but I didn't know.
You didn't know.
And it's not something I could have controlled, or I should have seen the signs sooner, or something. That's the guilt. But then, does it help you change anything? No. So then you're just making yourself miserable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's good to have a little bit of it because it keeps us aware of what needs to be taken care of, just
Yeah,
like any other
yeah,
emotion, actually. It's good for us
mm,
so that we are able
yeah,
to see what we need to pay attention to. But what you're saying
absolutely.
is to the extent, how intense is it? Then
Yeah,
listen to the
yeah,
wisdom that's, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I really, if you feel very guilty about something, then
Yeah,
you probably did something wrong.
pay attention to that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So being in public life, Pinky, and raising kids, how I don't know if it's the word balance, but how do you do that? How are you able to just handle it with, I see it with so much grace, with so much humor. I see you handle it with grace, ease, and humor. What does it take to do that?
So for me, I've always been very real. You
Mm.
know, this is who I am. So being a personality that belonged to the public, and then having children, it's only right for me to be able to say, okay, so this happened. I had kids. I got married. I had kids, and for them to also understand my line of work, what I do.
Mm.
I remember initially I was always very cautious of sharing my kids online. I still am. Like still, my kids are like, please don't share that. If it's okay with them, I do. My son actually the other day he was extremely offended because we walked into an office and someone said to my daughter, "Oh wow, I know you from your mom's Instagram. You're famous." And my son was like, "Am I not famous? Is it just her who's famous?" But also explaining to my kids that what it is to be a public personality. The
Mm.
reason that people know your name even before you've met them is because of what I share on my social media.
Mm.
They do not have their own social media, and again, I've explained it to them why, and for them to understand this space of being a public personality, I keep on explaining that these are the pros, these are the cons, this is
Mm.
what you need to do, and if you'd like to go down this route, if
Mm.
this is something you choose for yourself,
Mm.
I will happily guide you.
Mm.
Right now you're in my space,
Mm.
right? So you're part of my part of what I do.
Mm.
And some people are like, oh, why do you use your children? No, 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 no. There's criticism that comes with it as well.
Mm.
And like I said, I always speak to them about it. I ask their permission. They are aware of what I post online about them.
Mm.
And they're always, I'm like, always like, I show them inspiration. I'm like, are you okay with this? Is this okay? Can we do this? It's never under duress.
Yeah.
Family photos, and then I'm like, get your no, I'm kidding.
Smile.
But no, the good thing with them is they have a good sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
I really love their humor. They understand it. They love to perform, so they love
Mm.
to act.
Mm.
And I find this a good sort of platform to share with them.
Mm.
There, as you know, there'll always be pros and cons to it. I I'm very aware of artificial intelligence,
Mm.
the direction that it may be taking. So also for me, I'm a bit cautious sometimes. I'm like,
Mm.
should I
Mm.
share, shouldn't I?
Mm.
And we're always having conversations as well. Like I tell them about just getting your photo taken by any of your friends or sharing any photos. What are the repercussions? What could happen? What is your digital footprint? What does that look like? It's a very different time from when I grew up. It's also, like when you are teaching your kids to drive, you get in the car with them, right? This is the accelerator, this is this is how you do it. So that's how I see it, that they'll end up on social media, right? Eventually. I think it will be something that you have to be on. So for me, it's sort of my way of showing them how to navigate.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's a healthy way to do it because there's a lot of negativity and fear and a lot of negativity spewing out there around what's not going well with social media. And easing them the way you're easing them is, I find it a healthier way because it's almost like you're working with them. I like the analogy you have said, getting into the car and driving with them, as opposed to looking from outside with horror about this thing that I'm trying to limit my children so that they don't get into it. So I think it's a healthier way to ease our kids there because that's their world.
Yes, absolutely. And like for me, I mean, sometimes because I'm on TikTok, not them.
Yes.
And therefore I know all the trends and I know what they're doing. And so when I hear them say something, I'm like, wait, where did you hear that? How do you know about that? How do you know that trend? But of course, they have friends and friends are exposed to it and they speak about it. So this whole 6'7", have you heard about it, Carol?
Which one?
6'7". There's a trend right now. Ask your son.
Okay, I know about group 7. I guess I'm a few steps behind.
Are you in group 7? I'm in group 7 as well.
I have not seen the other one.
It's 6'7". So there's a trend where they say 6'7", and then I remember saying to my son, I'm like, how was school today? And he's like, it's good. I said, how was it? Was it like 6'7"? And he was shocked that I knew that. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, how do you know this? But he then thought I was the coolest mom in the world, that I knew it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's most of the reason I'm on TikTok is just so I know what's going on, because I'm aware I have younger kids and I want to see what are they saying, because some of the stuff I don't understand. What are they dressing as? What's the thing? What's the trends? Even like you apparently you soft launch your relationships online. Do you know this?
No, I didn't know. There's a soft launch. Soft launch
There's a soft
stage.
launch. So it could be a picture of hand holding. This is a soft launch.
Do you just take the picture of the hands or the faces?
Just the hand. So it's a soft launch. So you'll just see the hand or like a row. It's so dramatic, but all these things that as parents we need to be aware of, because if I ask my daughter, are you soft launching anything? She'll also be like, wait, how does my mother know this?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I do say to her, I'm like, so, if I speak in any of their jargon, she's like, oh, stop it. You sound so horrible. You sound cringy.
Yeah, it's cringy, right? This is so cringe, mom.
But that's the mother I am, and I want to be involved in their lives as much as possible in a way that I can continue to guide them, not in a way that I want to take over their wedding marriages and stuff like that. No, I just want to be able to make sure they understand what is right, what is wrong, if somebody is taking advantage of them, all of that. So aside from all the shopping and the meetings and all of that, I'm also on TikTok and watching it carefully and learning.
Yeah, and I think it's, again, it's not only a healthier way to introduce them, but also less anxiety for you, because you have information. Sometimes the anxiety, it's just the lack of information, not knowing what is going on. And I don't think we're saying parents go out there and be on TikTok and be on all these apps and all, but soft launch yourself, I guess, right?
And you know what? You'll find us there as well, making fools of ourselves, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm just doing this so that I can keep my just finger on the pulse when it comes to what the younger generation are doing, talking about, and the times.
Yeah. And I get that place where really having conversations with your kids about what to post is important, because a while ago it wasn't, but especially with the image, the space they're in and image and what other kids think of them, I've had to do that. I'm actually posting less because, my son is not necessarily, the outgoing and okay being out there. So I'm just like, you're ruining my career. I want to share about you. but you won't let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I like there's some wonderful videos I have my kids, and they're just like, nope,
yeah,
you're
well,
not sharing that. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
And also just really respecting that,
yeah.
because they are their own people, and they know why
Mm. They know
they don't
why.
want that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we don't
Um,
have to understand it.
mm,
Yeah, it's just
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thinking about again, just as we wrap up the space with your children, when your children watch you, what do you hope they learn from the way you live and from the way you show up for yourself?
I laugh because my daughter, as I said, she's 15. So she had a meltdown, or as they call it, what do they call it? Crashing out. I was
Pressure.
crashing out. Yeah. So she was crashing out, and I went to her and I said, this is all part of it. She threw her hands in the air and she's like, I don't want your Joe Dispenza nonsense right now.
Dispense an answer.
I was, yeah, I don't want this at the moment. So they're very well aware of what I do, how I live. They know that I'm up at 5. I do my Joe Dispenza meditation. They know that I'm barefoot in the garden, before they're awake. They know that I'm this person who works out or does yoga, or I'm doing some sort of movement. They also know that I'm in perimenopause and what that is, and why I could lose my,
Oh,
anything. It was very Carol. And I explain it to them that this is what I'm going through, and pardon me if you feel like I'm in a bad space.
yeah.
I try and make them understand. When I do the work that I do, I I don't want to impose anything on them that, oh, this is what mama does, whatever. I try and just sort of generalize it. I don't want to make it too big or too small. It is what my work.
Mm.
And if they ask me about it, I will then tell them this is the reason I did it. This is the reason. If they ask me about my radio work that I used to do, or television, I will tell them. But for them, I really believe they are their own people. They will become who they need to become. When I make sure that I cut out time for myself, or I do things for myself. Yes, they say that your parent is your first coach or your mentor,
Mhm.
and hopefully they'll see what I do and eventually implement it, or live a lifestyle that they'll be, oh yeah, mom used to do this, or mom used to work out this much, or I remember it wasn't too hard for mom,
Yeah.
things like that.
Mm.
I know that my husband played for Kenya. He played hockey for Kenya in the veterans team last year, and he was super happy. He's like, I'm representing Kenya, and the kids were overjoyed. So it's something that I can see that they want to also emulate. My son's into basketball, my daughter's into cricket, and they're like, if we play for Kenya, can we play for Kenya? And that's a beautiful thing for them to sort of, and that's what I like to see, is that
Mm.
we're not forcing it on them.
Mm.
It's something that it's coming from within. So they see from both parents the sort of like discipline and respect that we have first for ourselves. And I keep on saying to them, you must have respect for yourself first in order for you to treat people with respect and
Mm.
things like that. And I think parenting, it's tough. It's so hard.
Agreed.
But you sound like a broken record because you keep on repeating yourself. But I
Mm.
feel like if you continue, and without getting tired and without sounding like you're lecturing
Mm.
or nagging,
Mm.
the message, it becomes a part of their lives eventually.
Mm.
Like I hear my mother and me, and I'm like, whoa, when? How did she do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do remember her, yes, maybe repeating things over and over.
Mm.
And suddenly it's become a part of me. But then, also teaching them values that they will be able to turn to when they are alone.
Mm.
Uh, I said to my son, he had a trip to Mombasa with the school. And I said to him, I said, if you ever feel like you're homesick or you're missing me and it's late at night, just start praying. Just pray. And he came home and he's like, Mama, I did exactly that. I was really homesick, but I started praying and I fell asleep. And these are things that we have to be able to teach our kids, that we won't as parents always be there,
Mm.
but there are pillars you can put in place that will help them stand strong. And that's what living your best life and being able to say no, or drawing your boundaries, does for your kids. It helps them understand that as an individual they are important, and and giving, yes, it's important. Yeah, giving of yourself, giving, being of service to others is important, but you need to tend to yourself as well.
Mm. Those are very many valuable lessons, I think. And what I'm hearing, and I've had it even in other conversations I've had on this summit. I've had several conversations with Gen Zs, and one of the things that really stands out is, I'm like, what do you think? What should we tell parents, even as we continue in this journey? And they're like, don't stop talking to me. I may not seem like I want to hear. It might seem like you're sounding exactly what you say, like a broken record, but please don't stop talking to me. And I think we sometimes underestimate the power of the simple things like say a prayer,
Yeah.
simple things like take care of yourself. We underestimate the power of those things. And just thank you for reminding us again. It's in the
I
simplicity.
think one thing that I really believe in, and this is something I say, maybe not every day, but I make it a point of saying when my kids are going to bed, I tell them I value you, because I really, and I tell them that my life is so beautiful because of you.
Yeah.
And I want them to sleep with that thought.
Yeah.
Because I think what we say as parents to our children will help them understand who they are and will make them know their worth. Because, and I've said this to them, the world will tell you who you are if you do not know. The world will tell you don't have enough likes, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too dark, you're too light, you're too Kenyan, you're too Western, it'll tell you everything. But if you know who you are, then, because like you said, social media or even the way social media is evolving, and artificial intelligence, they're going to be competing for numbers and likes, and they're going to be competing with artificial intelligence that we don't know is artificial, but it is. And that's what they're going to be saying, oh my God, that's the standard of beauty, or that's the standard of what a man is supposed to look like. And then what happens to them? So that's why I say, know yourself. If you know who you are, if you know that this is who I am, nothing can shake you.
Yeah, I think there's just nothing as affirming as being told, I value you. We've had a rough day today, found out that you did something I don't like. We have had a pushback moment, but at the end of the day, being able to tell your child, I value you, that is such a balm.
Yeah.
To the chaos that they experience every day.
Absolutely. And I believe that words are very powerful. I keep saying to them, your words are your prayers. So when they say, oh, I hate this subject, I'm like, hey, that's a strong word. Can we reframe? Can we reuse? Oh, like my son in the morning, he's like, today is such a boring day in school. I'm like, no, reframe that. Because your words
it seems sometimes like you have to ask them to reframe like everything, like the word stupid and silly.
Yes.
I mean, and they use them like it's nothing. This is such a stupid rule. I'm like, so we're not
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Parenting nowadays I think is so much harder because, our kids are so vocal, which is a good thing. But then it's also like, hang on a second, let's channel these words and use them in a more powerful manner, which is why I value you is so powerful. And like you said, it's like a balm, but it's so important. It carries so much weight.
All right. So I think you're frozen, but that is happening a lot in this summit. You're back. Yay. Probably it's on my end. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, thank you for all that, Pinky. I think one of the things that I would like, I know you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but just to emphasize on it, some of the practical ways partners and the people that we are parenting, what are some of the ways they can support us, especially in the midst of all these other things we are juggling?
Oh gosh. So like I said, I'm perimenopausal, which is it's a different monster altogether. So I had to sit my husband down and be like, listen, I am moody and annoyed and I want to throw plates at you and everyone else, but this is why. I had to explain it to him. This is what's happening to the hormones. This is, and I keep on forwarding him reels. I'm like, please read up on this. Please understand that as a woman, I'm going through the hardest phase of my life. So aside from being perimenopausal, and I think women just the cycles are chaotic anyway.
Right.
I think it's important to just keep communicating. Hey, I need your help here. Could you step in for me here? Is it possible? Because I need to achieve X, Y, Z. Are you able to participate in this for me? Are you able to do X and I'll do Y and Z? Or can you do X and Y? And because Z is so huge, let me do that. Hey, today I can't, I need to clear my head. I need a moment's meditation, or I need a walk in Karura. Are you okay to just do the parents' consultation in school? It won't always be met with the best yes. But I think if you start from a place where you're just open and honest, like I said to my husband, I said, I'm overwhelmed and it's nothing to do with me. It's not something I'm doing intentionally. I am in the throes of perimenopause and it's battling depression. It's fighting, it's like waking up like you're going into a boxing ring every day. And he had to take a moment to understand that. And then I was like, do you remember maybe your mom went through this? Maybe you didn't understand. Have you seen? Do you understand? You know, all this stuff that women go through. And lucky for me, and I touch wood, that he's understanding and he's open to it. There's not everybody will be. So what happens when they're not? I think you need to find a support group. You need to be able to reach out. You need to find a therapist. You need to, you know, again, your mom might be a good resource. Maybe you don't even get along with your mom. Maybe your mom is no longer there. Are you able to speak to your mother-in-law? Is there an out that you can reach and sort of say, okay, it's not weak. I'm not weak by reaching out, because that's another thing, you know, we have to be able to be the super mom and handle everything. But we are human and we have to give ourselves grace, and we have to be like, okay, this is too much and no, I can't. So who can I look for who can help me, and who can maybe not even help me, who can listen, who can understand, who can pick the kids up on Saturday morning so I can just sleep in. You know, aside from just setting boundaries, is also finding your people, which is important, or reaching out and asking for help. These things are crucial. And I think, you know, I was having a conversation that the world is becoming, you know, we're becoming more, is the word secular, like by yourself? Is it secular? I don't, but like even individualistic. Families are becoming more nuclear, not so many, you know, families are coming together as much. And that's a sad thing, because we need circles, we need the community, we need people to be able to thrive and survive. And, you know, to be able to navigate, because one size doesn't fit all. And when we're struggling, that struggle is real, you know. And as much as you want to say, oh, I got it, you will have a moment where you don't. And that's okay.
We need that community. And I think also, for me, what I'm seeing, the theme underlying this conversation is to normalize where we are, to normalize our experiences, and be okay to ask for help, and communicate. You've talked about communicating to your kids about, this is where I am, this is how my work looks like, and all that. So it is okay to continue to have those vulnerable and open conversations, not only with our partners, but also with their children and the people, the important people in our support system.
Because don't forget, your kids will also go through their journey. My son will have a wife who will one day go through perimenopause, and he will have to step up. He will have to be that man. My daughter will go through perimenopause, and she will think back as to, what did mom do? How was she, you know, was she breaking plates? And you know, they'll be able to, like I said before, learn from us, take from us. And, you know, so you don't hide these things. These are very natural cycles of life, you know. Same thing with life and death. Have the conversations. Don't be afraid to have those conversations with kids.
And that's a scary one, but we have
It's a scary one.
We have to. I think it's the unspoken that actually brings even more anxiety. I've had to have that conversation with my son about, I'm not going to live forever, and let's just talk about this. And this is this is inevitable. So just having that conversation without even having a plan. So if I die, let's do this and that.
Yeah.
But just bringing it into that space and having that conversation takes away the anxiety on both ends. Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, Pinky, for just bringing your
Thank you.
simplicity, your wisdom into this space. Any final words that you want to give mothers out there to just as a nugget that they can take for today?
Oh, there's so many words. There's so many words. But I think to anybody who's watching, the mothers who are watching, I know that you are doing a phenomenal job. I think that we are too hard on ourselves and we're always comparing ourselves to other people. So what I would say is own your journey, accept your journey, and be very present, because there are the little moments that will never come back. And that's where you need to immerse yourself in those little moments, the laughter, the mess, the chaos, because once it's gone, it's gone. I was watching a video of an American lady who went to the shopping. She went to the supermarket and she got in the car and she put her phone up and she started crying. She's like, how come no one prepares you for the fact that one day you will be shopping and you will see your son shopping in the same place and he's going to his house for dinner and you're going to your house for dinner. And I was like, oh my God, this is so true. Because one day they will grow up and they will be their own people. The first thing we have to do as mothers is allow that.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't hold on to the fact that they're going to be our babies forever.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that empty nesters, or having an empty nest, is a reality that as a mother you will face. So, trying to also put that into perspective when you look at the chaos that you're in right now and you're thinking, just remember one day it will be quiet and you will yearn for the moments. Yeah.
So let's not take the messy moments too seriously and too personal.
Totally. And the bad grades and all of that.
Yeah. And the snarky attitude.
Yeah, and the snarky comments, and just enjoy, dance with them, cuddle them for as long as you can, tell them you value them, and just bring up happy children.
Right.
Happy children turn out to be happy people, and happy people will change the world.
They change the world and they are resilient as well.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for reminding us the little simple things. And I'm sure, I always say, for those who want to reach out to Pinky, you can find all her information in the Summit resources, but you don't even need to come to our Summit resources to find Pinky.
You'll find me somewhere.
Find you somewhere. But thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And I wish you love and happiness as we continue with this journey of impacting thousands and millions of women.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And congratulations on your amazing summit. Well done. And I look forward to many more.
Me too. Me too. Thank you.
Carol.
Bye.